Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy JayFlex, and today I'm going to be checking out 1970s things found in every home. So you guys know me on this channel, I've got a very curious mind, and I've been checking out so many things in the past, from music, some contextual things, and I'm also checking out some sitcoms. Currently on my Patreon, I am reacting to Married with Children, the 4 episodes.
Now, if a maniac broke in this house right now and shot me dead, Al wouldn't even know.
I'd know.
I have to leave the refrigerator door open. I'm getting a draft.
I'm sorry. Maybe I should look for some food in the dishwasher.
So if you guys want to support the channel and check out some nostalgic sitcoms from the 1980s, 1990s, then consider checking out the Patreon. Now this video seems to be from Reti of History, so definitely check this video out, the original video, if you want to see it without pauses and skips and all that extra stuff. Other than that, with that being said, let's get straight into this video. Let's go!
Life in the 1970s was much simpler than it is today.
Okay.
We weren't constantly bombarded with technology that seems to engulf every person we encounter. Socializing meant going out for a night on the town or even having people over for a gathering. If you think back to the
Bro, he's already sending shots at us Gen Zers, man. He's already sending shots. We weren't bombarded by technology today. I mean, do you know what? He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, technology, I feel like it's just made everyone life more antisocial. Which is ironic, because it was supposed to make people more social.
engulf every person we encounter. Socializing meant going out for a night on the town or even having people over for a gathering. If you think back to the 1970s, there were some distinctive items that you would see in homes, and no one sees these things today.
Okay.
So sit back and let's reminisce together.
Alright, well, I'm fogging out for the first time.
Today, beadboard or shiplap is very popular for interior decorating. But in the 1970s, it was all about wood paneling. It may cover one wall, or it might cover the whole entire room.
Wood
The paneling was often made from plywood or pressured fiberboard that was designed to look like real wood. It usually looked fake, but it went along nicely with the earthly feel that most 70s homes had.
Wow, that's interesting. I've never seen a house in like that kind of interior before. That's interesting. Okay.
Looked fake, but it went along nicely with the earthly feel that most 70s homes had.
Nice.
If the walls weren't lined with wood paneling, then you would probably see some funky wallpaper. There was an assortment of styles to choose from, but they were mainly sporting geometric shapes and bright contrasting colors.
Okay.
Textured walls were also something found in homes. They might have been flocked or foiled paper, or possibly just textured plaster.
Really?
But the texture and the colors used in the 70s usually made them irresistible to the touch.
Fair. Yeah, I can imagine you guys touching those walls, 100%. Do you know what? I feel like I remember these walls when I was really, really young. I think. I don't know if my parents had them, my grandparents had them. I was like, those are some old people walls, man. Like, what kind of walls is that? I feel like I'm in some care home or something. No, but even then, that's how I used to think. But times have changed, man. Times have changed. I mean, wooden interior, crazy.
In the 70s usually made them irresistible to the touch. Once you figured out how you wanted the walls to look, it was time to move on to the floors. If there is one type of flooring that screams 70s more than any other, it would have to be wall-to-wall shag carpeting.
Oh, my dad had
This
that.
interior design trend was huge, and it was often found in eye-searing colors like bright orange. Not only was this a huge item to see in homes, it was also a huge item to maintain, from vacuuming to raking it, just so it would look good.
I can imagine.
Kitchen and bathroom floors in the 70s had a distinctive style, and they were by no means plain. Linoleum was available in lots of bold patterns and colors. Most households loved them because they were durable and easy to clean up. Some of the patterns that could be seen during the time featured geometric shapes, while others took their inspiration from nature.
I feel like the modern field nowadays is a lot more simplistic, like more simple designs. Because like, you know, I don't know, at least for me, like I would see this and go like, this is like, it comes across a bit tacky. Like it's quite like there's so many colors going on and whatnot. But maybe, I don't know, maybe back in the day that was the allure of it, like, you know, cool colors, cool patterns, geometric shapes, all of that. But now I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the opposites now. I feel like people tend to go for more simple things, just simple color schemes, and that's about it really. What do you guys think?
Fireplaces
Things are a
were
lot more
another
decorative.
staple of 70s homes. Usually they were made of rough rock or stones that would take up the whole wall.
What?
They really had that
Wow.
look that you would see in a hunting lodge or cabin, and they certainly made a statement.
Yeah. Fireplaces.
If you didn't see stone, then it was also common to see exposed brick. This could be around a fireplace or just a plain wall of it. It was almost like people wanted that warehouse feel where they were living. You might also see these brick walls with angled ceilings. In the 1970s, socializing with neighbors, family, and friends was very popular. Once the guests made it to the living room, then they probably had a seat on your floral sofa. These were also big, bright, and bold. They may have had daisies or sunflowers on them, and what says nature more than sitting in a field of flowers?
Do you know what? Okay, look, if you can take into consideration how a lot of you guys are Gen Xers were just more just go, we went outside more. I can see how from that kind of, you know, upbringing, you're going to be more inclined to like naturalistic things, like themes going on in the house, like all these colors, sunflowers, freaking fireplace, all of that. Fireplace is really cool though. Like I would love to have a fireplace in the house. I think we did have one like when I was young, but we just got rid of that because that's literally so old fashioned. Like, so I love making these jokes. So yeah, man, you know, it's I can see why people would probably lean more towards it back in the day. Nowadays, yeah, I don't know. You're not seeing that at all. At all.
Says
Rarely.
nature more than
Unless I'm going into like my grandma's house or something, or like, you know, someone else's grandma's house or granddad's house, you know.
sitting in a field of flowers. If the couch wasn't their style, then they would probably pick the chair that was solid colored. It seemed like almost everyone had the Harvest Gold one, but yet you could also see avocado green or persimmon orange.
That's a cool
And
chair.
who could forget the round ottomans that were also in the same popular colors of the time?
Wow. They look
Beanbag
nice.
chairs were very popular in the 70s. They could be seen in living rooms, family rooms, or basements.
Really?
Once you got in them, you were there to stay because they were so comfy. But these lovable beanbag chairs certainly made a mess when they split open.
Oh, wow. I can
TVs are a
imagine.
common sight in living rooms of today, but in the 1970s they were a staple in the decorating. They weren't flat and hung on the wall like today.
Wow.
These were basically wooden pieces of furniture that your living room was
You're
arranged around.
joking.
Not only were these good for watching your favorite television shows, but they also had plenty of room on top for knickknacks and family photos.
Wow. Wow.
Speak-
TV's in the freaking furniture, man. That is crazy. That's crazy, man. I wouldn't think that's how TVs would be like in furniture. It's cool, nice storage, but it's like, where's the button to turn it on? Like, would it not be on the side? I don't know, but look, TVs and furnitures is mad. Like, you know, I'm used to them on the freaking wall, you know, or on top of something, but in the furniture is crazy. I open my cupboard and the TV's in there. Wow, man. That's different. That's different.
Up for knickknacks and family photos. Speaking
in
of
the-
televisions, TV trays were very popular. They were perfect for your home-cooked meal or TV dinner while you watched your favorite show.
Okay.
After all, you couldn't miss it. There were no VCRs or DVRs back then.
VCRs or DVRs.
Something else that you might see in living rooms were crocheted blankets. These were often made from scratchy wool, so they weren't the best for covering up while watching your favorite movie. Usually they could be found on the back of the couch or on the ottoman. Maybe your grandmother made these, or maybe mom picked up a new hobby during the winter while watching television. These crocheted blankets had all of the colors and the patterns of the time period which we loved.
Wow.
You can't hardly mention the 70s and not talk about macrame. This was not
Macrame.
only in every home, but it was also
What is
all
that?
over the house. You could see these as potted plant holders or various other wall hangings, and especially owls.
Really?
Pottery also seemed to
Okay, like sewing used to be definitely more of a thing back then. Interesting. No wonder, because you know my grandma's always sewing. I'm like, Grandma, get a phone out or something. I don't know. Like, get with the times. Like, nobody sews anymore. But nah, okay. This is, you guys are definitely a lot more creative, a lot more kind of just utilizing the materials and the nature that you had at the time, and you know, actually going outside. Now everything's going digital, man. This is kind of sad. It is kind of sad.
and especially owls. Pottery also seemed to be a staple in every home, and it really went along with the earthly theme that houses had.
Yeah.
These may have been
imagine.
from someone in the house picking up a new hobby or from the rise of ceramic artists in the decade.
Wow,
It was
okay.
not uncommon to see ceramic lamps, vases, and more.
Wow.
Fringe was all over the place in the 70s.
Not anymore.
It was on
though.
vests and it was even a hairstyle, but it could also be found in many homes.
What is
It
that?
may have adorned the top
What
of a
is
doorway,
that?
but it was also frequently found on the top of curtains or on the bottom of lampshades. Apparently, people in the 1970s just enjoyed cleaning more things.
Oh man.
There are several things that could be found in rec rooms that were unique to the 1970s. Whether you want to call them pod chairs, egg chairs, ball chairs, or globe chairs, these seats were actually quite cozy.
That looks
You may
fun.
have even had one in your bedroom. Funky lights were usually somewhere to be found near these
That's
chairs. These weird little lamps with colored filaments that glowed lit up
That's
the
cool.
room, and everyone thought they were cool.
We need more of
Without
those.
them, the room would have been much more gloomy than they already were.
Yeah. That gets a thumbs up from a Gen Zer. So far, it's the only thing that's gotten a thumbs up so far. I'll be real. Actually, maybe the TV inside that just shocked me actually. But wow, okay.
The room would have been much
The
more
pods as
gloomy
well might
than they
get a thumbs
already
up
were.
from me. I like the pods. I feel like we
Chrome
have them
was
today,
on
though.
every car in the 1970s, but it also found its way into the home. Chrome accents could be found on kitchen chair legs, coffee tables, appliances, and even lamps.
Okay,
A little bit of shine was perfectly fine.
that makes sense.
Pyrex dishes are still available today, but they are really just plain and clear when compared to the 70s. Back then, you were proud to display your casserole dish or
Oh,
mixing
my
bowl
days.
on the
I've
table.
seen those.
No kitchen seemed complete without the glass pendant lights that were above the
No, there's so much going on. I've seen these. I remember when I was young, my mom used to have these. Okay, so that's a thing.
table.
My childhood.
No
is-
kitchen seemed complete without the glass pendant lights that were above the table. These outrageously huge globes were super popular in the 1970s, and especially so if they were orange.
Orange.
Vinyl tablecloths were a must-have on kitchen and dining room tables. They made cleanup a breeze, and they really helped to protect the wood table that you had.
Okay.
Now these seem to be reserved for picnic tables outside.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to impress while entertaining guests, then you brought out the fondue pots. Everyone thought these were the greatest until someone dropped the cheese in their lap or on the shag carpet. Hopefully, you just had them stay over the vinyl tablecloth.
Not on the shag carpet, man. Don't drop it on the shag carpet, man. That's
Shag
crazy.
carpet. Hopefully, you just had them stay over the vinyl tablecloth.
Okay.
Long before we had Keurigs, people had massive coffee makers that made a whole pot of coffee, and these were in every kitchen. There were several different brands, but Mr. Coffee seemed to be one of the most popular ones.
Coffee.
Care
first.
for another pot of coffee? If you were in a house with a second floor, then you probably had floating stairs. They looked a little dangerous, but they were certainly a focal point in the home designs of the 1970s.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, I feel like floating stairs are ahead of their time, man. Because even in modern day houses, like you see those, and yeah, that's advanced. That's ahead of the time, man.
Certainly a focal point in the home designs of the 1970s.
I like that.
During the 1970s, rattan furniture found its way into the homes from the patio. If you didn't have a peacock chair in your living room, then I'm sure you knew someone who did.
Wow. Okay.
Phones in the 70s were meant to last, and they actually had some weight to them. They couldn't do what cell phones can do now, but they definitely served their purpose, which was for talking. Push-button phones became available in 1963, but since they were made to last, you probably still had rotary phones in your home. If you did have a push-button phone in the 70s, then you were certainly embracing the future. Alarm clocks were a necessary item to have in the 1970s.
Obviously, you see those. I see these phones all the time in movies, man. I never got to experience one, but yeah, they look cool.
Alarm clocks were a necessary item to have in the 1970s, and people were starting to have fancy ones. Do you remember the alarm clocks that sported numbers that flipped? They made a cool clicking sound and came in the ever-popular fake wood veneer or some bright 70s colors.
I know some of you guys are going crazy over that.
The kitchen appliances of today come in white, black, or stainless steel. But in the 70s, we had different options like yellow or green. These appliances are long gone now, but probably not because they broke down. By the 80s, people just wanted these colors completely gone.
Fast.
Taking vacations in the 70s was a big deal, and many of these moments were captured on Super 8 film or placed on slides. Family or neighbors would then come over, and they would all gather around for the big show. You certainly don't see these projectors or screens anymore.
Definitely not.
Home stereos were also a common sight in living rooms. The receiver might have been placed on top of the television, or it might have had its own piece of furniture to hold it up, and the record player. Stereo cabinets were the preferred way to go because they could hold all of your records and the coveted 8 tracks. The speakers were often found on the floor on each side of the stereo cabinet or the television. Of course, the speakers and the components were often covered in the faux wood grain of the time. Since we just mentioned records and 8 tracks, let's talk about them. Vinyl records peaked in the 1970s when the concept albums like Eagles' Hotels California came out. The design covers of albums is something that seems to be a lost art. Surprisingly, records seem to be coming back, but one thing that doesn't seem to be coming back is 8 tracks. At the time, everyone wanted an 8-track player in the home and in the car. They were easy to stow away, but it was annoying how your song could be cut off as it went to the next track. Colonial furniture made it.
Why would the song be cut off? It didn't play it to the very end. And even then, all of this stuff he's mentioning is flying over my head because I don't know what it is and why he's saying. He's saying how you guys would have loved it. Look, you guys gotta fill me in of a lot of these things because it's crazy how times have changed. Because you're probably thinking, wow, like I don't know any of this. Probably makes you guys feel a bit, ancient, which I understand, because you guys, arguably to me, are. So, yeah. Wow, this is so different.
Off as it went to the next track. Colonial furniture made a comeback in the 70s, and perhaps this was due to the bicentennial. Regardless, many homes had these pieces of furniture adorning their living rooms, bedrooms, and other areas.
I've seen those.
I hope you enjoyed this little walk through the 1970s. The decade had a style of its own, and it really was a great decade to experience. What are some of the things that you remember in your home? As always, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, sir, for making the video. I'm gonna give it a like. Guys, you guys let me know stuff that I might have missed out, some of the stuff that you thought, was this really true? Was it really like this in the 1970s? And what were some of the things that you guys probably that he might have missed that you guys also liked or also be interested in? But guys, look, if you made this point, comment down a red heart again. I've been doing red hearts recently in these videos, but do those red hearts to show that love for the 1970s, and I want to also know who my real ones are. But yeah, guys, as always, I've been your boy JayFlex. This has been the 1970s things found in every home, and for those of you guys that made this point, you guys are absolutely wonderful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.